Bought 206 books today, and I just wanted to go over some of the books that I found and why they might be cool. I guess we'll start here with this box. This one's kind of cool. It's got a lot of Faulkner books. Absalom, Azalea Dying. Oh, we'll go over the Faulkner books first. There's another one, Intruder in the Dust. Got some annotations in it, which is pretty cool. Look at that writing, that's crazy. Sanctuary. Sartoris. The Unvanquished. That's Foucault. So maybe that's the end of the Faulkner books. I've got a couple more here. Oh, there's one. Go Down Moses. I think I have another copy of this too. And we have maybe like 2 copies of this?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is The Order of Things, The Archaeology of Human Sciences, Foucault book. Pretty cool. None Dare Call It Treason. Nice 1960s political commentary. And then these 2 that I set aside earlier were Tarzan books. I have more Tarzan books that I wanted to list, and so these are nice accompaniments for those. Also in this box, I've got some other good politics books. Cuban Revolution. Whenever I see books on the Cuban Revolution, and this is specifically about the United States' involvement in it, so you're going to get some nice CIA spying stuff, Bay of Pigs type stories from this. Slaves Without Masters. Really cool book about post-antebellum American culture and the effects of slavery, the ongoing effects of slavery in the United States. This is a book that I thought was kind of cool because I just recently sold a Rushdie book, and this one is Essays by Arab and Muslim Writers in Defense of Free Speech. So it's kind of backing up Rushdie's position on being able to speak freely even in the Muslim world. Kind of a cool book. The Age of the Gorilla. I'm not really sure what this one is, but I just thought it was cool because it was written about the time, let's see, 1970 was the release date. So this is kind of peak guerrilla warfare. You know, it even mentions Vietnam right there. That's kind of when guerrilla warfare became a thing. We're still seeing the impacts of that today. So I thought that was kind of a cool book, probably still relevant. Nice little vintage paperback. Genghis Khan, the exciting story of a barbarian warlord who conquered half the world. Thought that was pretty neat. Oh, it's got illustrations in it too. Alcoholics Anonymous. This is an interesting one because most of the ones you see are hardcover, but no jacket. And so this one is kind of an interesting one. 3rd edition, 1976. But this is the 44th printing in 92. Still with a jacket though. So, nice edition of this book. Eric Byrne, MD, Layman's Guide to Psychiatry and Psychoanalysis. So, Drina, you probably got this one.
I did.
Psychoses, Dreams, and the Unconscious. This was, let's see, 1968 first printing. So, it looks like 3rd edition. So this is what we knew about psychosis and psychology in 1968. Cool book. It's got the jacket. Very nice. America, BC. Ancient Settlers in the New World. Druids in Vermont. Phoenicians in Iowa. This is a very interesting book. Wow. That's pretty cool. The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. Yeah, Nazi stuff's always popular. This is a very large book. Nazis. Story of Philosophy by William Durant. The Lives and Opinions of Greater Philosophers. Let's see what this is here. This is a collection of works. Herbert Spencer, Hegel, Voltaire, yeah, Francis Bacon. Very cool. Nice. Robert A. Johnson, We, An Understanding of Psychology of Romantic Love. That's a nice one. Oh, this book is cool. Astral Projection. Practical guide. You too can astral project out of the body. Alright, last of this box. Devil in the White City. That's a really great book. I haven't read it yet, but that's what I hear. It's on my list, so this might be mine. We'll see. Red Scare. Really cool classic book about, basically modern witch hunts in the early 20th century. Great sci-fi book in paperback. Arthur C. Clarke, 2010, Odyssey 2. Got another one of these in hardcover, and I've got the first one and the second one. First one's in paperback. Second one I've gotten hardcover. So, just adding the collection. Another cool Tarzan book to go with this. So this one's a little newer, I believe. This looks like an 80s. Wow. Oh, there we go, 90. I think these are a little older than that. Yeah, 64. So, still cool nonetheless. And then finally, Simone de Beauvoir, The Ethics of Ambiguity. Another cool, probably psychology book. Great title, though. It's one of those ones that kind of like you see on the shelf and it just jumps out at you. Alright, so cool books in that first box. Alright, second one. Oh, this is from a store we just found, a new bookstore. This bookstore has a little bit of everything. Just really, it's one of those ones you have to dig through. It's super chaotic. It's not going to feel like a Barnes and Noble. It's got stacks of books, rows of books where you have to go to rows of books behind those rows of books. But it's a great place to dig for stuff, and they have pretty good prices, as you can see. This is a cool Luftwaffe book written by one of the commanders of the bomber forces, basically talking about how, no matter how efficient and good they were at what they did, there were some, really integral issues to what the Germans were doing during World War II that lost them the war. So, cool perspective, good condition paperback. That's all. That part of the, history is always really interesting, World War II history. Donald Hamilton, I have a bunch of him. Got a bunch of these books. The covers are always really cool. I'm just collecting enough of him, and I'm gonna do a nice Donald Hamilton lot. But these are always pretty cool. This, what is this, 1970? What, 56? How did I get that so wrong? Cool paperbacks. A lot of the books I got from this store were, political history in nature. Oil and the Revolution in Mexico. I thought that was a cool book. Because I've read somewhat about oil and politics in Mexico. They're kind of interlinked because some of the oil barons got involved in Mexico early on, and it kind of extended into like World War II and CIA and OSS era. So they were all involved in keeping Mexico stable enough to take a lot of oil out of that place. Clausewitz on War. This one's kind of a rough jacket, but I like the cover. I think I have another copy of this that's a different cover, not as interesting as this. This one I'll probably have to repair a little bit. Maybe put a Mylar jacket on it. American Espionage and the Soviet Target. Another cool Cold War espionage book. This one's probably late 80s. 87. Yeah. So A lot of times I buy stuff that I would read, and this is kind of up my alley. The Kingdom and Power, the story of the men who influence the institutions that influence the world. So that, you know, it's about, you know, media and the kind of the power behind the throne and that kind of interesting stuff. So nice book. You know, have to do some repairs on the jacket here probably. A little rough. Soldier, the memoirs of Matthew B. Ridgway. Not sure who that is, but I saw that book. I think you grabbed this one.
I did.
And the cover stood out to you, obviously. Soldier.
Yeah.
Kind of a cool old book. Meyer Lansky. It's just about organized crime, and Meyer Lansky from New York. He set up a bunch of casinos in Las Vegas and a bunch of other places, and connected to intelligence work. Really interesting guy. That's him right there. Chairman of the board. Still got some, hold on, a bookmark in there. We have.
What did they use?
Napoleon Dynamite. If you study with my 8-week program, you will learn a system of self-defense that I developed over 2 seasons in fighting in the octagon. It's called Wrong Wando. They crossed it out. Wow, that has to be the person that had this book. Interesting. Meyer Lansky. I got Saddam Hussein, political biography. This was written in 1991. So I thought that was kind of interesting that you have a First Iraq War biography of the guy that we're going to end up fighting. At this time, tensions were kind of bad, but just before that, we were arming him. So I think this is going to be an interesting perspective on Saddam Hussein. This one I'm keeping for myself. This one's a really interesting book. Transformation of America, the true life story of a CIA mind control slave by Kathy O'Brien and Mark Phillips. Kathy O'Brien, you can look her up on YouTube. She says she's a mind control slave of the CIA, part of the MK Ultra and Monarch stuff. Really interesting. Not sure if it's true, but interesting nonetheless. It's kind of one of those like hidden subject or eras or subjects of America. I don't know. Cool book. John Perkins, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Kind of along the same lines as the last one, kind of fringe political history. This guy says that he basically was working for, I believe it was the Department of the Treasury or something like that, and he would go and take care of, he was like a political operative in other countries, but he worked for like big money interests and stuff, and he, you know, did that kind of espionage around the world. This one's called Into Laos, Story of Dewey Canyon 2, Lam Son 719. I'm not really sure what this is, but I know that Laos was very important in the Vietnam War as far as intelligence operations go. I thought this was a pretty unique book. Never seen it before, never heard of it. And I grabbed it, though I'm gonna have to fix that because that happened while I was checking out, unfortunately. Cool box though. I'm gonna go back to that store. That he had so much there that, you know, I didn't have time to look at it all. It's like a whole shelf of Victoria Holt that we found at a sale. She has tons of great covers, and these all have jackets. I think they're all Doubleday book club editions. Oh, this one's stuck. Okay, not very badly. Yeah, book club edition. But the covers are all still great. Castle in the background.
Gothic.
I think we have another, yeah, definitely Gothic romance,
Yeah.
Windswept Heroines, Crumbling Manners, you know, Foggy Coastlines. This one feels like it has a bit of a Asian theme, House of a Thousand Lanterns. That's unfortunate. This little bit right down there stuck. We'll fix that. I love the watercolor kind of look, almost like a tarot card on that. Demon Lover. That guy, the demon. 7 for a Secret. Oh, this was nice. I like that art on the glass there.
It's from the 80s.
Yeah, that looks very 80s.
It is.
My Enemy, the Queen, historical novel.
Yeah.
Interesting. Judas Kiss. So it's maybe like ex-library. Yep, it is.
Same one.
Oh, look at that. Two Judas Kiss.
Yep.
On the Night of the Seventh Moon. Well, see, this is great artwork right here.
That's her top seller.
Really?
Or her highest rated novel.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's kind of quintessential Victoria Holt cover art there.
For sure.
This feels a little later. The 90s, maybe.
That's 80s. I think she did most of her stuff.
93.
Oh.
Yeah. Just the cover felt a little too new.
True.
This one feels a bit 80s. Feels like a Fleetwood Mac album cover or something. 91. Well, the late 80s.
Yeah.
Captive. Now see, that's a cool color or cover. Feels like a Mucha kind of artwork. Finally, the India fan. All right, John Le Carre, probably Le Carre, right?
Yeah.
Now I heard this guy was actually an actual ex-spy of some type. I'm not sure if he worked for the State Department or who, but I guess he draws on his, experience. Maybe it says what his background is, but he's the author of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which is where most people would probably know him from.
It's the Smiley series, I believe.
Smiley?
Yeah, Mr. Smiley.
Oh, is that the guy who is in the books?
Yes.
All the main spy and his... There you go. So, The Perfect Spy, Agent Running in the Field, A Legacy of Spies, The Honorable Schoolboy, The Looking Glass War, which this one's kind of cool. I like this cover with the... What is that? Some kind of fly.
Focus.
No, I forget what that is. I'm drawing a blank on it, but it's got those little wispy things. 1965. Nice book club edition, though. I believe this is, The Pigeon Tunnel Stories from My Life.
About him.
Kind of cool. We got, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. These are really nice Penguin editions. I love these. These are very, I think, trade paperback is like the most readable format. And finally, Smiley's People.
Yeah.
Those are cool. Then the other ones in this box are Arthur C. Clarke, Tales from Planet Earth. Really cool book club edition. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it just doesn't say it. Maybe it's not a book club edition, but either way, love that cover. We got Patrick O'Brien, Post Captain. Is he the one that did Master and Commander?
Yeah.
Oh, yep, there it is. Far Side of the World. Yeah, I want to read that. Dinotopia. Hold on. More Patrick O'Brien. There's Master and Commander, Far Side of the World, and Post Captain. So, that's awesome. I would totally read those. And then finally, Dinotopia. This feels like a Scholastic, reader type book, but sci-fi fantasy. All right. We got two of Foucault's Pendulum by Umberto Eco, who also wrote The Name of the Rose, which, did we get a copy of that?
We did. It's right there.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Yep. The Name of the Rose. I just watched this movie. It started out kind of weird and got better. It's a murder mystery at the heart of it, but it ties in, very like spiritual themes. I'm not sure what this one's about, but same author, good books. The Power of One. Not sure what this is about. You know anything about this one?
I don't know a lot about it. I just know that it's popular and it's Um,
1989 book. It says a magical adventure on an epic scale. So
Yeah.
I'm in.
yeah.
Star Trek. Yeah. You know, obviously, if the Picard is on the front, we're buying it. Nice book. This is the other copy of Odyssey 2. This is going to match up with my Odyssey 3 hardcover that I've got. I've got another Del Rey Odyssey 3. So those can be friends on my shelf. Burned Offering, Robert Maresco. Not sure who that is, but love the cover. It's a great doorknob. It's like one of those really classic, like 1920s style brass doorknobs. Book Club edition. Cool book. Harlan Ellison, another sci-fi writer. Cool book. Deathbird Stories. Yeah, typically whenever we see sci-fi, we're gonna get it. And Now Walk Gently Through Fire, R.A. Lafferty, and other science fiction stories. Okay, so a collection. I like it. Let's see who we got in here. Robert Bloch, Silverberg. Yep, got some hitters in here. Cool cover. Oh, Dune by Frank Herbert. What? Maybe it's just a advertisement. All right. The World According to Garp. Now, I've got another one of these, and I know nothing about this book. It's a novel. Garp's World is an imagined one. Well, I have to figure it out later, but apparently it's a good book. The Adversary, another sci-fi, as you can see. Bro's in a spacesuit. Jacket's a little jacked up, but Julian May, author of The Many-Colored Land and The Golden Torque and Non-Born King. Cool looking cover. That's probably why we got it. Empire Fear. Yeah, now that's a cool cover. An epic vampire novel. Yep. Yeah, when I see vampires and sci-fi, basically sign me up. In 1988. Very cool. Another sci-fi book. Arthur C. Clarke and Gentry Lee. Rama 2. Sequel to The Rendezvous with Rama. I believe I have that in paperback. Double helicopter. Mistress to an Age. What do you know about that one?
I don't know much. I just saw that it was an interesting cover. It was kind of Americana, 1940s, 1950s kind of stuff, and I grabbed it.
Okay. Looks like it's historical fiction? No. It's a biography. Well, that's cool. Might have to do a little repair on that. And these go together, both by Stephen R. Lawhead. This is, I believe, Siege of Dome and The Search for Fiera are both part of a series, right?
Yeah.
And I think they go to, this is book 2, so this is book 1. I'm not really sure which one this one is. We're going to figure that out. And finally, I got a couple copies of Close Encounters. So these are our later printings. They're a little rougher too. You can see some scratching on there. But I already have some of these. I like to buy these when I see them. But this, you can tell, is a first printing because it has this step back here. There's the first printing. This one doesn't have the step back. This one's a 5th printing. This one's a later printing too. But cool books, like those. R.A. Salvatore.
Yep. Can't go wrong.
Yep. Love his books. Forgotten Realms. Always get those. And then The Hammer of the Sun, another great fantasy book. Avon. So, good box. All right, this is another one of the boxes that you got yesterday.
I did.
3001, The Final Odyssey. The final Odyssey. That's it. Now we've got it. Arafel Saga, C.J. Cherry. C.J. Cherry, we have a couple great paperbacks by C.J. Cherry.
Yeah.
But, yep, always love those great fantasy covers. Joiner. Actually, this is another... We've had another copy of Joiner. I believe the last one we had was a book club edition.
It was, and it sold for $30.
Yep. So...
See that? Buy it.
Yep. James Whitehead. Stranger at Wildings, a novel of romantic suspense by the author of Moonraker's Bride. I know nothing about this, but this looks like kind of like historical romance. You know, very soft colors.
I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of has that vibe in the cover art.
Yep.
So it's a cool book. Oh, C.S. Forester. This is the Horatio Hornblower series. It's kind of similar to the Master and Commander type books.
It was a hardcover. I believe we have that book, but as a paperback. And
I don't know if we have Hornblower in the Hotspur, but we have others.
We have Hornblower.
This is the first one I've seen like this.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. Like, I've never seen one with an old cover like this. I've seen later versions of these books.
Yeah.
So this one's really interesting. 1962 second printing. So yeah, this is an early one. Maybe ex-library.
I don't know if
Not a whole lot of markings. Yeah, it looks like there's one of those return slip pockets. There's more markings. Library copy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
but still a really, really nice copy. Yeah. Love that. And that's a great series too. I read one of them. I forget which, many years ago now, but super enjoyed it. Xenogenesis. That sounds like a Philip K. Orson Scott Card movie or book. My brain's not working.
So I checked that only because of the name. I thought that was an interesting title, but also because it sells really well and it's kind of an expensive and rare book.
Yeah, that's why these library copies are great.
I mean, they kept it pretty well. I don't know if we can get the sticker off the front, but...
Well, that's going to be on the jacket itself underneath there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like there's some fading, maybe.
A little bit, yeah.
Maybe that used to be purple. Looks like maybe it was. Tregoron's Daughter, a novel of romantic suspense. Looks more like sci-fi. These geometric shapes.
But it was a pretty cover, and I checked and it sells, and I grabbed it.
Yeah. The Roman, a novel by Mika Waltari, author of The Egyptian and The Etruscan.
Yeah.
So obviously historical fiction.
Yes.
Very cool. Yep, master of the historical novel.
Mm-hmm. This is
Love
another
that.
one.
Love
the
that.
title jumped out at me. The cover jumped out at me. I grabbed it. I checked what the selling comps were, and they were pretty good. So I just grabbed it.
I like it.
Yep.
Wow, look at this one. John D. McDonald?
Yes.
I didn't know they made nice books for him like this.
I didn't either.
Wow.
But I saw that and it was only $2 and I had to grab it. I had to.
That's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he does the Travis McGee mysteries. Usually they're very pulpy paperbacks.
Yeah.
Like real cool covers. I've never seen something that's... So you get 5 books in this? That's
Yes.
crazy. 1985. Wow.
But it was such a nice copy. I
The
couldn't
gilting
resist.
on the page blocks. Wow. With the bookmark built in. What do they call that? I think there's a name for it. They left off on The Dreadful Lemon Sky.
I do wonder if that's where they just stopped reading and said,
I don't think they even read it. I think that that's where they put it in the... It's like the factory location.
Sure.
And it hasn't moved since.
Yeah.
That's
that
what I
could
think.
be.
Fantasy Worlds of Peter S. Beagle. Well, I mean, I don't know who Peter S. Beagle is, but gang's all here. You got the unicorn, you got your wizard, wolf avatar, you got your raven familiar, some kind of like harpy or something up here, or maybe the head's just floating in front of a bird, I'm not sure, but yeah. Oh wait, the last unicorn. Okay. So this is like what do they call that? A monogram? Leela the Werewolf, The Last Unicorn, Come Lady Death, and A Fine and Private Place. Great books. Gore Vidal, I have heard of him, and I don't know why. I know he's a famous writer from mid-last century, 20th century. But it looks like he wrote something about Aaron Burr, so political biography, Lincoln, a novel. So
Yes.
maybe a reimagining of them.
Yeah.
And then Empire. I don't know what that one's about. Stunning Epic. Turn of the Century America. Spanish-American War. Theodore Roosevelt and William Randolph Hearst. Okay, yeah. Cool. So about the, I'll supply, you supply the, what was it? You supply the war, I'll supply the headlines, or I forget exactly the quote there.
Of course, yes.
So, yeah, those are cool.
Yep.
All right. Oh, it's a pretty good box. We got a lot on Mary Stewart. What do you know about Mary Stewart?
I don't know a lot about her. I just saw some of the titles. I thought that they were interesting. I checked eBay comps and they seem to do well. People seem to be big followers of her, so I just grabbed them.
Well, she kind of has like a Victoria Holt kind of vibe, but
so she does.
we're seeing more of like a...
It's like fantasy, though.
We're seeing more of like an atmospheric kind of thing where she's setting a stage of where this happened rather than it's being about one person here. So I'm feeling this is like historical fiction, maybe. Last Enchantment, Touch Not the Cat, Airs Above the Ground. This is an amazing cover. I
So
love that one.
she's a British novelist and she developed herself in the romantic mystery genre.
Romantic mysteries, all right.
Yeah.
Something for everyone. The Wicked Day. So far, this is still the best cover. I have a few more here. The Crystal Cave. Ah, that's a shame. My
Yeah.
Brother Michael. Looks like maybe Roman or Greek times. What we have here? The Moon Spinners. Feels almost a bit like medieval sci-fi. The Ivy Tree. That's also pretty cool. Like a wall with a tree growing in the middle of it. Still the best cover. So a whole stack of Mary Stewart. Pretty awesome. And we have some other author blocks here too. Reach in here and grab this. Trying to drop it. Roger Zelazny. It's like fantasy sci-fi. Cool cover. Looks like Doctor Doom a bit. Night of Shadows, the new Amber novel. So looks like they're all a series.
It's a lot of
Amber
mythology.
novel.
Yeah.
Mythology.
Mm-hmm.
Prince of Chaos, another Amber novel. Very cool cover as a unicorn. This one seems to not be related to Amber, but who knows. The Last Offender of Camelot. Star Child. Wait, that is not Zelazny. Fred Mustard Stewart. Not sure what that one's about. What's that? Okay, so back to Zelazny. Blood of Amber. Another cool cover. Again, gang's all here. You got a eagle-headed, I don't know, lizard. Crow with feet. Goat with a seahorse tail. We got it all. And then finally, Sign of Chaos. Another cool cover. I judge books by their cover. Sorry. Okay. These are kind of one-offs. I think we have this in paperback, and this is a cool fantasy book. The Claw of the Conciliator, Gene Wolfe. Marion Zimmer Bradley. These are great books. Darkover. Have a bunch of paperbacks. And whenever I see these, I get them. Empire of the Summer Moon. Quanah Parker and the Rise and Fall of the Comanches, the most powerful Indian tribe in American history. Cool trade paperback. Great subject. Looks really interesting. Oh, finalist for the Pulitzer Prize, too. I mean, if you needed another reason. Garth Nix, The Keys to the Kingdom. Looks like some kind of horror fantasy. Very cool size. It's a very interesting size. It's almost like they took a full-size book and chopped the top off. And finally, got some Star Wars novels. Got Tarkin, Conviction, Fate of the Jedi. Another Fate of the Jedi, Ascension. And then Star Wars The Republic, The Fallen Star. I've got a bunch of Star Wars books, so these are going to be perfect to lot up with those. Ex-library, but clean copies. Totally readable. Really cool books. Yeah. Frank Slaughter. So I've already been collecting Frank Slaughter, and I might have some of these already. I'm not sure. I think Devil's Gamble looks familiar. But Frank Slaughter has a ton of books, so I wouldn't be surprised if these are a bunch of... I'll have 2 Devil's Gambles right here. I wouldn't be surprised if I have some unique ones. 2 Doctor's Wives. Long story short, I've got a bunch of Frank Slaughter. I just wanted to add on to some of my lots because I've just got it sitting right now. These are $2, so I bought them. Got a cool cover here. Sci-fi, definitely buying that. Got 2 Stephen R. Donaldson, great fantasy writer. 2 different series, got a Second Chronicles series and Morden Sneed Volume 2. I got some Stephen Donaldson, so I'm gonna pair those up with the ones I already got. Love this Carlos Castaneda cover. We already have some other Carlos Castaneda, and this one just has like some awesome gilting in the feathers, and just that's such a great cover. Joyce Carol Oates collection, another cool cover. I love how they've printed that onto the book itself, and the jacket is just kind of transparency paper. Really, really great collection of Joyce Carol Oates. This one's a sci-fi, Doubleday sci-fi fiction, but it's by a French author and translated by sci-fi author John Brunner. Thought that was cool, right? Cover, really nice, almost kind of like abstract surrealism. Then we have the author and the translator on the back there. Cool book. V.C. Andrews, another author that we have a bunch of. This one's a cool cover. Kind of like a Medusa in the spider web. Got some kind of creepy animals in the background. Anyway, always good to have V.C. Andrews. Go good in V.C. Andrews lots. Harvest Home, Thomas Trian. Amazing cover. Look at that cover art. What a great book. Beautiful. Nice Knopf logo. Yep. And then finally, Larry Niven, sci-fi writer. Looks a bit more fantasy leaning on this one, but yeah. Love this author. Great looking book. There he is. Hey, Larry. Got a pipe. All right. This one's Sonodor Castaneda, Journey to Ixtlan, Lessons of Don Juan. So it's like a Don Juan sequel. Yeah. Teachings of Don Juan was the original. We have several of Castaneda's laying around. We always saw these lots. Great author, so always buy them when we see them. Ivory on the Horn, Charles DeLint. We have 2 of these.
They sell.
Cool cover. Tor, great publishing company. Good looking books. Or I'll Dress You in Mourning. Oh, right. So this book is about a bullfighter. And this is supposed to be a really good book. It's kind of like not only about bullfighting, but it covers like politics and other great stuff. Really cool cover too. And title for that matter. Adolf Hitler. This is an interesting book. This is a kind of a biography by John Toland. And it's about, I guess John Toland went around talking to everyone who knew Adolf Hitler. And he got a lot of criticism because he was trying to humanize him, saying like, this guy who committed these atrocities is and was a human just like us. We're all capable of these things, and we got to be careful about that. And so he talked to people that Hitler knew when he was a kid, and officers that were around him. And yeah, so it's a really interesting book because these interviews were done when these people were still alive, and some of them didn't live for too much longer. This guy also won a Pulitzer Prize for The Rising Sun. So, cool book. The Book of Duncow. This is a fantasy book?
Yes.
This one sounds really, really intriguing. And this is one of those ones that I wish I could read. I might just do that actually. Yeah, this looks like a really interesting book. I might check this one out. James Clavell, obviously, Gaijin, cool book, author of Shogun, awesome book series. Obviously, this guy's got nothing. He's got a way with words. Every single book he writes is just super dense. How many pages is this one? Over 1,000 pages. Insane. So yeah, Gaijin. And then finally the cart. Some really cool books in here. This one, I'd never heard of it, but by J. Edgar Hoover, director of the FBI, kind of leader of the communism witch hunts. There's him. Also, from what I understand, kind of a weird guy, but he was one of those control freaks, and wrote a book called Study of Communism. Great cover. Great condition. Just definitely buying that when I see it. Steinbeck, Winter of Our Discontent. Now this is a BCE, but it's got the same cover as the first editions. So, really cool book. Good condition. Book club, but doesn't matter. Old Boys, The American Elite and the Origins of the CIA. Another cool intelligence style book. I always buy these when I see them because I have an interest in this topic, but a lot of other people do too. This one's cool because the original intelligence agents, the OSS, were all, bankers and connected to old school, like elite American families. So I'm not sure who Burton Hirsch is. Maybe Seymour Hersh's relative or something. But this is a really good analysis of the early days of intelligence and kind of where everything went wrong with the American experiment. Great Arthur C. Clarke hardcover. Ghost from the Grand Banks. It's kind of a futuristic, raising the Titanic kind of story. Great sci-fi hardcover. I love that metallic cover. Got Cider House Rules. Love this book. It's the first actually. I think we might even have one more of these, but I'm not sure. Actually, it's a second. Not sure if we have another one of these, but I think the one we have is also a first edition. Really cool book. I have to clean that up a little bit, but love that. This is an interesting one, From Versailles to Locarno. This is about Polish foreign policy in the post World War I to World War II era. Just a really niche subject, but great looking cover, good condition, and rescued this book from a shelf. It needs to get out there and get to the person who wants to read about this really, really specific subject. But great looking book. Out of Control, another nonfiction book. Story of the Reagan administration, secret war in Nicaragua, and the illegal arms pipeline and the Contra drug connection. Really cool subject. This is some 80s Reagan politics type stuff. All the secret operations that were going on in Central America, including drugs being run by the government. This book's kind of about that. Cool. Frederick Pohl, obviously great looking sci-fi cover. I'm buying these all day. It's a book club edition. Love that. What a great cover. Legacy of Heorot. Well, what do you think?
Hero.
Probably Hero.
Yeah.
Niven, Purnell, these guys are always writing together. We have a whole bunch of books by Larry Niven and Jerry Purnell. This time they got Steve Barnes in on it. Looks like a great book. Love that cover. Very kind of metaphysical, sci-fi. Another copy of that Ghost from the Grand Banks by Arthur C. Clarke. This is one of those small editions that you get at the, I don't know, at the airport or something, but cool little book. Love the size of hardcover. Very portable. Element 79, Fred Hoyle. This is such a cool cover. Paper, matte, very old school, very vintage. Great looking book. The Foundations of the Arab State. Now I think I can probably get that out. There's enough gloss on here where if I'm careful I can use maybe some isopropyl. But I just thought the color was so cool, and the font, the typeface stood out to me. And I'm also interested in Middle Eastern politics and stuff, so I thought this was kind of a cool book. Never heard of it before, but also very niche, super cheap, so couldn't pass it up. Another Frederick Pohl. This one's Mining the Oort. So it's a meteorite. Oort cloud is a group of meteors in the solar system. I think it's not meteors, but asteroids. That's what it is. Asteroids. Saying the wrong thing the whole time. Comet Bomb. Yep. Great sci-fi. Another good sci-fi book, Starburst. Pohl. Cover is just phenomenal. Yeah, love that book. The Ravens. Christopher Robbins. Not Winnie the Pooh's friend. The Men Who Flew in America's Secret War in Laos. And a lot of... they're showing a Cessna type of plane here. I'm not sure exactly what kind of plane that is, but really interesting time for aviation and kind of things they were trying and doing. So, cool book. Three Titans by Emil Ludwig. So this is an interesting copy. I'm not sure if it had a jacket originally, but like the boards are super thick and dense. Really interesting binding. And then they have this kind of like gilded marble paper on the front, very thick. Just this stood out to me. And so I learned that Emil Ludwig wrote these psychological profiles of people, and rather than dealing with the events in their lives, he dealt with the things they were going through in their minds, so kind of like an internal profile of them. And so in this copy, he outlines Michelangelo, Rembrandt, and Beethoven, and goes through, several sections where he analyzes, what's going on with them. Cool book, super old. This is like a 1941 copy. Just had to get that. Cuba Project. I love Cuban history. This is the second book in this group that has to do with Cuba, but the Cuba Project was actually a CIA project against Cuba. I have another book on it, but I saw this one and there was a different twist on it. Castro, Kennedy, and the FBI's Tamale Squad. I hadn't heard about this because I haven't really read about the FBI, so I thought that this was an interesting subject. This is a book I would read. Oh, Coral Gables Boys? Interesting. Interesting subject. I'd read this. If not, I'll sell it. Another kind of the same topic, Inside the Covert Military Operations of the Reagan Era. Kind of similar to, Out of Control. So, kind of similar topics. Might sell those together. Might keep them and read them. Not really sure. People versus Lee Harvey Oswald. Great looking book. Covers in pristine condition. I'm not really sure exactly what the perspective that this book takes. It's from 1992, so this is kind of like way after the fact. This is kind of like that's unfortunate. The same era as Oliver Stone's JFK movie, which I think was like the late 80s maybe. So maybe this is kind of like taking advantage of the popularity of that. So I'm not really sure what this is about, but I saw it, saw the cover, thought it was kind of cool, bought it. This book, Life and Labor in the Old South. I think that's an interesting subject, and I was gonna get it, and then I thought, well, let me check this book, and I was surprised to find out how much that sold for. So I went ahead and got it. What is this? Oh, it was a bookmark. I just lost their place. Oh well. Another one I found that I thought was really cool, by John F. Kennedy, Why England Slept, and England's Unpreparedness for War, and a sober and serious study of the shortcomings of democracy when confronted by the menace of totalitarianism. But I'm interested to hear what his thoughts are. This was written in 1961, I believe, so 2 years before. Well, okay, so this one says 1961, but the Library of Congress number is 40-. So, oh, there you go. Original edition, copyright 1940. So he wrote this after going to school, maybe. And he's still much younger. Before even entering politics. Or was he in politics? Interesting. Anyway, I've never seen a book by John F. Kennedy. Wanted to get that. Let's change up here. This is a sci-fi book. Thought the cover was cool. Slaves of Heaven. It's a book club edition, but really clean. Good looking book. Disposable Patriot. Revelations of a Soldier in America's Secret Wars. This is another kind of 80s, 90s Central American. This guy was involved as like a CIA asset, kind of paramilitary type guy, involved with the Contras. This is his first hand account of all that. Interesting subject. Thought I'd get it. Assassin, the Theory and Practice of Political Violence. Obviously, that just sounds cool. Not really sure what it's about. Distant Mirror, Calamitous 14th Century. Obviously, this is kind of like historical fiction or some kind of fantasy. Historian, Pulitzer Prize. Very cool looking book. Okay, so there's a map. So there's definitely history. 14th century. Yep. Okay. So it's a book on the history of the 14th century. God, that's terrifying. Look at those skeleton people. It's like a skeleton army. Like the plague or something. Deception, the invisible war between the KGB and CIA. Edward J. Epstein. Very cool book.
Any relation?
See, I was CIA. I was wondering about that too. I'm not really sure who that is, but I've seen another book by him too. I forget what it's called.
Curious.
Yeah. How Can We Commit the Unthinkable? Genocide, the Human Cancer. That's a terrifying cover.
Yeah.
This one's interesting. Every highborn rogue who has disgraced his or her family name has earned the title Black Sheep, an extraordinary 3-century chronicle of ruined reputations and appalling misdeeds. This just seems cool. What a great topic. Basically, like, what happens when you disappoint your family and they disown you. The historical edition. From Beirut to Jerusalem. This is a Middle Eastern politics book. This is about revolutions, the PLO, Hamas. Really good, interesting Middle Eastern politics in this book. Always a great one to have. The Horseman by Joseph Kessel. Not really sure about this. It's a novel. French. Narrative, powerful and sweeping grandeur. So kind of historical novel. Good looking book. Cool cover. Might need to do little repairs here on it. Guantanamo Diary. About one of the detainees of Guantanamo who was treated very, very poorly and probably without reason. I think this is one of the guys who was just arrested without any kind of due process, and it turns out that he wasn't a terrorist. Wrote a book about it. Lost Towns and Roads of America. Like, these paper covers are really, like, they just kind of stand out in the first place, but this topic is interesting too. Kind of like the archaeology of, past civilizations in America. We've only been here a couple hundred years, but there's already some things that we're losing from the past. We're paving over everything, and this is a book about that history. Secret History of How the White House Illegally Armed Iraq. This is just probably like late 70s to early 90s politics, and how there's changing alliances, and one time we're friends with Iraq and the next time or next decade we're fighting them. So cool book. So that's the whole haul there. This was just this cart that we have here. Holds a whole bunch of books, but all in all 206 books, and yeah, got a lot of cool stuff here.